Mr. Fay, elected members of the Corporation of Hamilton, members of the press and Bermuda media. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to City Hall. We have called this press conference to announce the 40th Annual Conference of Black Mayors will be held in Bermuda this autumn. After a detailed due diligence process by the Corporation, the Ministry of Home Affairs, and Minister Michael Fay, we are very gratified to announce our hosting of this very important conference in Bermuda. The city and island will be hosting delegations from the USA, from South America, Africa, the Caribbean, and even possibly China. The 40th CBM conference will be international in scope and dimension. Here in the city, we are excited with the prospect of bringing the world to Hamilton, sharing ideas and forging new relationships, creating business opportunities, and learning how other cities and towns manage their business and services. I will now defer to the Deputy Mayor, Donald Smith, to give a more background and scope regarding the conference members and just who has expressed an interest in attending the Bermuda event. But before I call on the Deputy, I would like to respectfully call on Honorable Michael Fay, Minister of Home Affairs, for his brief comments. I would ask the media to hold your questions until the end, till our participants have given their statements. The Minister will be followed, as I said, by Deputy Mayor Smith, who is a designated chairman of the local organizing committee for the CBM. And I will end there. Now, thank you for your attention and attendance today. And if we can just keep those ground rules, I will now hand over to the Minister.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. I'm here on behalf of the Governor of Bermuda today to express our support for the conference, which will celebrate their 40th anniversary in October of this year in Bermuda. I acknowledge that there has been much discussion about this event in the community and in the media. As the Minister responsible for municipalities, I publicly advised that before the Ministry could endorse such an event, I too had to be satisfied that all was in good order and that this event was in the best interest of the City of Hamilton and Bermuda before we could support the Corporation's efforts. At my request, the Mayor and his team undertook to do more due diligence to the point where I, as Minister, was content with the information provided. Today I am satisfied with the discussions I've had with the Mayor and his team, and therefore thought it was only fitting that I publicly sit and stand in support of the Corporation's efforts. I am hopeful that the conference will be a success for both the City of Hamilton and Bermuda, and I am optimistic that the Governor of Bermuda and the City of Hamilton can work together on future endeavors. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Deputy Mayor and Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Minister Fahey. Let me say briefly that I am, for so many reasons, delighted to join with Minister Fahey today to formally announce that the 40th Annual Convention of Black Mayors will be held in Bermuda, October 1 to the 5th of this year. For over 39 years, the National Conference of Black Mayors has launched an annual convention that has grown to now include more than 2,000 African American mayors and municipal staff, and has attracted the participation of major politicians, business and financial leaders, not only from the U.S., but increasingly from around the world, and all with the aim to improve the quality of life in the cities, townships, villages that the mayors and their officials represent. Nor is it confined to only delegates from the United States. Due to the international alliances formed by the NCBM, it now includes 29,000 political leaders and elected officials of color from around the world. So, in October of this year, we will be greeting more than between 400 and 500, between 400 and 500 plus delegates from around the world, as far away as Brazil, Colombia, South America, China, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, South Africa, Nigeria, Jamaica, and the Caribbean islands. And we shall be reaching out to many other countries with the advice and help of the African Union. These influential people will enjoy the hospitality afforded by our hotels, our restaurants, and the famed leisure activities of our island home. Hopefully, they will return to their countries to urge their colleagues and constituents to come to Bermuda. Consider, as well, the NCBM represents some of the most influential political and financial groups in the United States and beyond. The mayors and their colleagues represent a powerful voting bloc in the United States and around the world and preside over billions of dollars of municipal funds. As such, they represent an enormous source of present and future business for Bermuda's international business sector to pursue. Already, politicians and other leaders and their advisors who are looking ahead to the 2016 elections will doubtless be planning to join us here in Bermuda. We shall, as well, be inviting business leaders in the US, Europe, and beyond to join us as featured speakers. And finally, on a personal note, this year's convention theme will be 40 Forward. It is a theme that might easily apply to us in Bermuda. We, too, look forward and put aside the recrimination of the past. I gladly join the mayor and my Corporation of Hamilton colleagues to looking to the future for the city of Hamilton and to strengthen ties with investors around the world. We have now and always will look to build the future prosperity of this city and Bermuda. But I would like to say, it is in the spirit of forward thinking that much has been said and written about this event that has now proved to be unfounded. But now, Minister Fahey, we are about to go full speed ahead in planning this great event. And we hope that we may now rely upon the support of all who have the welfare of our island home at heart as we shape this very special event which could contribute so much to the prosperity of Bermuda. On this past Sunday, I had the distinct pleasure of speaking to one of the 6 finalists that was vying for the papacy in Rome. And he has confirmed that he will be attending this conference. I believe that Almighty God has smiled on us with his approval on this event. And I thank you for attending this press conference.
Thank you very much, Deputy.
Yes.
At this time, I'll call on Councillor Scott basically to field questions from the media and basically direct the media questions. Media, the floor is now open to you to ask questions.
Can I ask you and the Minister a question? There's obviously been a lot of confusion and controversy over who's actually organising or who runs the Conference of Black Mayors. And last month, you approached us saying that basically you need to find out more information about who we're dealing with and what exactly is going on. And just now the Minister talked about due diligence. What due diligence have you done to establish who is behind the corporation? Sorry.
Yes. Without going into exact detail of some of the issues that were raised in your article based on the Georgia judgment basically had to be addressed. And we got the information from the CBM, and we were comfortable in understanding exactly what we were dealing with, and we've decided basically on that information we could move ahead, and we were comfortable to go to the minister with that information and share it. And we're happy with everything we've learned. And I think from the point of view of where media was searching in certain areas, the answers came to us as being quite evident that it was only one side of the story. And we're happy to basically support this particular initiative based on the facts that we went through things very carefully with the minister and provided the information directly from the CBM to the minister and had discussions for clarification, why the name confusion and things like that, because The NCBM is basically a while ago had decided that it was outreach. I think it's being shown just by what they did down in South America that it's becoming a international organization, not just a national organization. And their outreach is to the world now, not just in America.
But did you, during your due diligence, you said you spoke to the CBM. Did you speak to the NCBM? Because they are two separate organizations, aren't they? That's the NCBM, and which was set up 40 years ago, and then you have the CBM, which is a splinter group, and there's controversy over who's behind the CBM.
Yes, let me answer you, Mr. Finnegan.
Can I just finish the question?
Of course, go ahead.
Did you speak to the NCBM? Because obviously they've expressed concerns that this CBM has nothing to do with the NCBM.
I think one thing I should let you know is that Mayor Johnson is no longer a part of the NCBM. He gave his letter of resignation, I believe, in May, earlier in May. And from the point of view of being a split organization, it actually is an organization of both bodies. But I will let the deputy answer.
So you're saying that the NCBM and the CBM...
I will let the deputy clarify.
Mr. Finnegan, I like your question. Let me put to bed this right now and forever. The NCBM in 2011 passed a resolution that on their 40th year of operating as the NCBM, they will relinquish the name national and they will pick up Conference of Black Mayors. That was passed through a resolution. We've supplied the documents to the minister and he's assured us that that is what it is and that's what we produced. Now, there's no confusion over the NCBM and the CBM, not at all. The NCBM has now come back to the mayor, Michael Blunt, who sits on both the NCBM and also the CBM. So it may sound like a joke to you, but it's for real. That's what it is. Now, based upon Kevin Johnson, the former mayor, or I'm sorry, the former president of the NCBM, who was relinquished of his duties 2 months after being in office, he has now gone on to become the president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And he has given up that position as president. So he has nothing to do with the NCBM. The NCBM, as I said a moment ago, is now in the hands of the mayor of the CBM, which is the Honorable Michael Blunt.
But you said that it was basically a name change. They've given up the NCBM and they've changed their name because it was becoming more global.
Well, actually, sir, this is the way it's going to go. When they convene their annual meeting here in Bermuda at the conference, that's when it's going to be ratified. Okay? You follow me?
Well, no, I don't. Because we have two separate organizations. The CBM was set up by Vanessa Williams last year.
Sir,
The
look,
NCBM is still
just a minute. Let me put this to bed. I'm going to try to put you to rest, okay? Miss Vanessa Williams, while she was in court, and this is for you so you can rest assured this is not no fly-by-night organization. When Miss Vanessa Williams was in court, Supreme Court last year, someone purported to be Vanessa Williams registered a company called the Conference for Black Mayors, which was a bogus company. And when they signed her name, they signed Vanessa out, the whole name Vanessa. She doesn't sign her name like that. She signs her name V. Williams. So let's just move past this because I think we're beyond this.
But you've just confused the issue because what you said is that the Conference for Black Mayors is a bogus organization and that was set up.
I didn't say that.
Deputy,
Mr.
I think it's probably appropriate I address it.
Yes, please, because, you know.
You just said that the CBM is a bogus organization.
Let the minister.
And yet you're now saying...
Thank you, Mr. Finnegan.
Yes,
You'll get an answer.
What I don't want to see today is this news conference collapse into anarchy.
Yes.
There has been much doubt that's been placed on these organizations. And when I've been asked on comments in the past to comment on this event, my position and the ministry's position has been, until we are satisfied with the information that we have received, we will not be in a position to approve any veerments under the financial instructions that were put in place in January, which you may recall is one of the reasons that the corporation has been in a position where they have to come and seek that extra veerment. If I may, I'm just going to run through the budget issue
Please.
as to how this has worked, so I think that's going to be important. The Corporation of Hamilton approved a budget, which I also approved, through the financial instructions where a $100,000 amount was placed for the Black Mayor's Conference for a staging fee, some of which has been spent and some has not been spent.
Correct.
The Corporation of Hamilton has requested a further sum of money to be given to assist in bookings and reserving places for the conference. What we have agreed is that we will ensure that veerments are provided for the minimum sums that are required in the event that there's a cancellation or in the event something comes to light, quite frankly, we're unaware of. From the information that's been provided to us, we are comfortable with the state to proceed on that basis. It's actually quite simple on that basis. So, again, we're confident from the information that we received thus far, notwithstanding what has been received from other sources that happen to be part of litigation from a one-sided point of view. They have their point of view, other sides have their point of view, but the investigations that we've undertaken to date have demonstrated that at this time, this conference looks like it can go ahead. Now, I think that the corporation and the Ministry of Home Affairs could take a different view if something happens disastrous or whatever. The main point is this, and this is what I've been assured by the corporation, I'm comfortable with that, not just from the elected officials, but from the technical staff, who are those organizing this behind the scenes with the deputy mayor as chairman of that of the organizing committee. That the monies that will be spent in Bermuda. And again, if things are not looking the way they need to go, then those things can fall to the side. But at the moment, we are comfortable with the information that has been received. And I think it would be dangerous to start putting things in a context to say that some people have acted inappropriately. There are ongoing issues that have continued to go on in the United States, but that doesn't take away from, at all, what the conference is trying to achieve. And I think that's really what this is about. If things don't go the right way, then we'll eat humble pie and we'll say, okay, a mistake was made. But at the moment, it looks like we're in an okay position to proceed. I think it would be, I think it's well known that if I'm dissatisfied with it, I would not have approved it. I would not have actually said that this particular veerment is payable. The corporation is only exposed, when you look at it, to some monies. It's not a huge amount. The intent from the corporation, from my inquiries, is to ensure that there is sponsorship that is made available to help sponsor the event. I'm sorry if I'm taking the fire away from you there, Deputy Mayor.
You're taking it. You go right ahead, Mr. Minister.
That the sums will be sponsored as much as possible, but that is what will come. The thing is, it's almost a cart before the horse. You can't organize something and seek sponsorship if there's no one that's prepared to say, we will at least endorse it to this point. So I will say this as well. It would be, to me, absurd, and maybe I may take flack for it later. It would be absurd in my mind to perpetrate some massive fraud for what really amounts to about $100,000. I find that absurd. So notwithstanding all the detail, everything that's been said in the paper is correct in respect of what was said from one party in respect of this ongoing litigation in the United States. There's nothing wrong with that. No one's saying that what was been told is wrong. We've had to look at it, and we've had to make an assessment, and that's the decision. So, you know, we can go on and on and on, and that's perfectly legitimate questions to be asked, but I've made the position clear from our point of view at the ministry in respect of what we have to do as a Ministry of Home Affairs to lend support to the Corporation of Hamilton in that endeavor.
So, is there another additional $50,000 that's going to be paid to the CBN?
My understanding is that there was a $100,000 staging fee, and I'm sure that the corporation can answer questions in respect of how that money has been spent. That's not for me. The budget was approved at $100,000. There is some monies, no doubt, to be spent. There's a request for further monies to be spent in terms of bookings. Hopefully sponsorship will come in on that. It's an investment that one has to make.
That's in addition to the 100,000.
That is in addition to the 100,000. The request has been made in respect of veerments, and those are transfers from within the existing budget from other areas of the budget to help support that initiative. They're not asking for any money from the ministry. They're simply looking to reallocate monies from within the existing budget to assist in this. And as I said, as a protective mechanism, we are approving the minimums sums that will be required to make these bookings, and that will be held until those monies are required. It's not just the corporation going out and throwing money around and hoping everything's going to work out. That's not happened.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you. Just one.
Confirm, Minister, just to confirm, you are endorsing this conference.
I am endorsing it based on the information that we've seen to date, and I'm comfortable with that. And again, as I said, it's an extra protective mechanism because of the issues that have been faced, to ensure that this event can be endorsed and get things running and get things on the ground, then we have agreed to make those minimum pyramid transfers at the request of the corporation. They have followed what has been required under the financial instructions.
So how much are these transfers?
I would really like to give other press a chance to ask questions first. Go ahead. Any other questions?
Yeah, let me just first.
If there's no other questions from other media, I would just ask from a corporation standpoint that I think the minister has come here today respectfully and honorably to assist the corporation in its endeavors. There are a lot of people that wouldn't like to trust the corporation, then trust the minister. But I think we're at a point now where if the country is going to benefit from this conference, and if the country is going to move forward in the many challenges that we have, we're going to need everybody to play a role, including the Royal Gazette. And you did your piece, you created your stare, and I'm asking you now, along with the rest of the media, to let's focus on the positive aspects of this. You ran that story, right, respectfully, and now we're asking you to assist us to move forward as a country and as an organization that needs to assume for 1 minute that this conference can be a success. Wouldn't that be something positive for the country? So it's already been embarrassment for us as an organization to have to answer questions fielded from around the globe based on your reporting, respectfully one wrong. Now at a point, the government has stepped in with mechanisms that we all trust and believe in, and I'm just simply asking you that you respect the professionals that are doing what they have to do. The story that you're, or the angle that you're taking has already been taken. And unless there's some new angle that you're looking to bring on board that has not been yet discussed, then come on board with the rest of us and try to make this a success for Bermuda so that we can benefit from this. But the continued negative publicity is not helping us drum up the type of support we're going to need to pull this thing off successfully. And I think that's what everybody at this table is looking to do. So respectfully, I'm going to ask that we can, look at it from a more positive light.
Thank you, Mr. Alderman.